Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama where this dude does acid and then jumps off of a building. More largely, it's the producers of Black Mirror's attempt to cash in on the rapidly dying Randy Slime Tony style of 80s nostalgia, and, like every piece of meta-narrative player-driven fiction as of late, comment on the nature of choice. And it does a terrible job of that. Night in the Woods is a 2017 interactive video game from Infinite Fall that, according to my friends, I will just not shut up about. It sets out to do largely the same thing that Bandersnatch does, but in a far more charming and relatable way. If you want to hear me rant about how charming and relatable Night in the Woods is, this is not that video. Instead, check out this Night in the Woods video I did for one class one time. I'm also going to talk about Undertale briefly, but if you need me to introduce Undertale, then it's maybe time for you to go back to your fucking bridge game, Grandma. This ain't for you. Get out of here. So Bandersnatch. From a writing perspective, it feels like baby's first choose-your-own-adventure game. That's not to say it's for babies, that's to say it is written by babies. It's got these incredibly childish, like, high school English class tropes in it, like, "Ooh, look at me, I'm the character that knows we're in a video game." And the writers literally admit in a news story that I read recently that I can't seem to find anymore, that it was written in the choose-your-own-adventure platform Twinery, as though that's some kind of selling point. Like, okay, look at this. This is a Twine game I made where the player gets kidnapped and eaten, and it's cool as fuck, and I learned how to use Twine in an afternoon, and I'm 20 and mentally stunted. Like, okay, here's another bad trope. There's this point towards, like, the very, very, very beginning of the experience. I want to say, like, the fourth choice you've been given so far. And the only choices you've been given so far are, like, what kind of cereal do you want? Do you want to listen to ABBA or Prince or whatever? And even, like, the choice where you decide whether or not to work for this video game company is completely meaningless because it's an instant game over if you choose the wrong one. Which, in fairness, I do have to give the writers credit because they telegraph that really well by, you know, doing this same thing on screen a couple seconds beforehand. But, like, that's the limit of my praise. Because the game has this way of letting you settle into the feeling that your choices don't matter, and then they pull this shit on you. If I was invested in this game, if I saw that my choices mattered at all at this point, here's what I would be saying. "Oh no, not my mom. Oh my god, I'm crying. Please, where's the yes button? Where is it? Come on! Oh my god, there's no yes button. My mom's gonna die!" But so far I haven't been made to get invested in this game at fucking all. This game tries to pull a rug out from under your feet while you're standing 2 feet away from said rug, brushing your teeth in the bathroom mirror. And by the way, you look great. And it sucks because Bandersnatch proves that they can use this device well. Later, when Stefan's with his therapist, he's having this conversation about how he feels like something is controlling him and making choices for him. And then they give you this menial choice, like pull on your earlobe or scratch your arm. And whichever one you pick, Stefan starts to do it, and then he resists it. After going through this game a few times without seeing that, you're like, wait, hey, whoa, he can do that? It's fucking cool, and if they didn't try to pull it earlier, it would be a million times cooler. And it would also be cooler if they didn't pull it twice in a row. Like, right after this, they say, "Do you want to throw your pills away or flush them down the toilet?" As if they're not the fucking same choice. Moments like this should be emotionally impactful because the choice you once had has been taken away from you. But if your game keeps taking choice away from you, you just get used to it. Like, okay, I don't have a choice this time around? That's fine. I don't like the energy. I want to go back. Can we start over? Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama where if you bump the plug out of your laptop while making choice number 2, it completely crashes the game, and your browser. Thanks, Netflix. The latest obsession in choose-your-own-adventure fiction is endings, right? Good ending, bad ending, the ending where Strahd makes you drink gasoline and sets you on fire. Bandersnatch has like 5 endings, Undertale has 3, and Night in the Woods has like 1. I played the fuck out of Night in the Woods, so I'm pretty sure I would know if it had a second ending. The thing about Bandersnatch's 5 endings, though, is that they exist completely agnostic of each other. Marcus from Cosmonaut Variety Hour actually said this a lot better than me, so I'll paraphrase. When you're playing a choice game, you want to explore the universe. If your game has 5 endings, you should have 5 pictures of what the universe looks like based on the choices you made. And you should be able to combine those pictures into one huge picture, to be able to understand the characters in the world better than you would with just one playthrough. And titans like Undertale do this perfectly. It would be almost impossible not to write a three-dimensional character for Undertale, because you literally explore every major character in 3 dimensions. Here's how everyone would react if you killed everyone. Here's how everyone would react if you saved everyone. Here's how everyone would react if you killed maybe like 6 or 7 people. And this fits into the themes of Undertale, because Undertale's story should encourage you to be a good person. But okay, now I'm going against what I'm actually saying, because Night in the Woods' universe you don't see it from any other angle than your own. Which is exactly right. Everyone loves this buzzword of expectation subversion, subverting your expectations. This is the big media buzzword right now. If a piece of media subverts your expectations, you're like, whoa, my expectations were subverted. So that's the big media buzzword, and Night in the Woods does it perfectly. Night in the Woods is one of the only games that does choice well, because it doesn't promise you that your choices shape the universe. Your choices shape the relationships with the people around you, and ultimately show you the relationship between working on relationships and watching them flourish. And this fits perfectly into Night in the Woods themes, because Night in the Woods never promises you a world you can change. In fact, it promises you quite the opposite. It says you can't change the world, but you can change how you treat the people in it. In Bandersnatch, you're not exploring the universe or your relationships to characters through different choices. In fact, it seems like in some variety of selfish, overblown butterfly effect, your choices change the entire universe around you. I think it would be giving the writers too much credit to say that this is intentional as well. The game cleverly tries to disguise this by having things set in one path directly parallel another path. Like, for example, this monologue where Colin tells you all about, oh, you're being controlled by the government, they put chemicals in your food and your medicine, directly paralleling this other path where your dad is a mean old government dude. And it presents itself in a way where, at least from the reviews I've watched, this ending is most commonly experienced before everything else. It's so bold-faced, though, that it doesn't feel like foreshadowing, it just feels like the player is doing something out of sequence. That being said, it isn't even always applicable. You can get this ending, and then go back, and then get a completely separate ending where maybe Stefan is being haunted by a ghost. And so if you did that, it would present this incohesive narrative where you feel like you've been given insider knowledge by this guy, and maybe you even feel special as a player because of that, and then that insider knowledge does not play out at all. Bandersnatch has a textbook case of what I like to call the "this piece of media doesn't matter" disease. And it's epitomized in this moment where you have to remember a series of numbers. You have to put in a special phone number to like advance the plot, and even you don't. I'm pretty sure it just loops back on itself. If you put in the wrong number, it just loops back on itself. If the game didn't literally tell you in that moment what numbers you had to put in, then maybe it would feel like everything you went through meant something. But no, Black Mirror decides to appeal to the lowest common denominator and give you the answers to the puzzle as soon as it is set out before you. I would try to tell you how this clashes with the themes of the game, but I honestly can't tell you how it clashes with the themes of the game, because this game is trying to tell so many different stories with so many different themes that I would need a video for each one. We're gonna wait for sound. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama that tells you your choices don't... Are you done, Twinkle Bell? Oh, you're having a hard one, huh? Poor thing. Oh! Maybe I'll do my taxes while I'm waiting. I can do my taxes with TurboTax. The internet's leading provider of something, for sure. Probably the only provider of a thing that does your taxes for you. Are we good? Are you good, Twinkle Bell? You poor thing? Poor baby. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama that tells you your choices don't matter while simultaneously giving your choices far too much weight. Unlike its contemporaries, the likes of Night in the Woods, Undertale, and other choice-driven narrative video games, your choices shape the universe wildly and without any mind given to the canon through line. For example, choosing what symbol to show on a computer monitor splits this universe into 3 different timelines. In one universe, our main character Stefan may be haunted by a cursed choose-your-own-adventure game book. In another, the source of his troubles may be a government surveillance program. Yet another attempts to comment on the nature of entertainment as a whole, as you reveal to Stefan that he's part of a Netflix series. It leaves loose ends at every turn, and then pulls you back to earlier save points with the implied promise that more will be explained, that these loose ends will be tied up, but instead forgets about them and tries to tell you a different story. It's like, you know those recipe blogs that have a fucking novel before they actually tell you how to make pierogies? It's like if that was a movie, and there was no recipe, and this metaphor isn't working, and I need to start over. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama where they retroactively give that point that I was talking about earlier. What? The point where you're only allowed to say no? They retroactively give it more... Why did I write... Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama about being controlled by the government. Only... well, no. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama about mental health, I think? I don't know what Bandersnatch is about. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive creepypasta that's too busy jerking itself off to tell a cohesive story. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama and... Fuck, okay, can we cut the tape for a second? Just let me collect my thoughts for 1 second, please. Okay. Bandersnatch is a 2018 interactive drama capitalizing on the rapidly dying trends of meta-narrative fiction, player choice in storytelling, and 80s nostalgia. As Netflix's first foray into the genre, it promises to be the most complex narrative ever presented on the platform. What it delivers, however, is a disjointed web of thematically incohesive stories that do nothing to build off of each other or the titans of the genre. Where the likes of Undertale promises you the world in 3 ways, or Night in the Woods promises you a world you can't change but nevertheless a world with friends, Bandersnatch promises you everything and gives you nothing. The message of Bandersnatch, as far as I can tell, is nothing matters, your choices don't matter. And oh boy howdy, does it ever deliver on that incredibly dull premise. 2.5 out of 5. What was that, 45 seconds? Maybe I don't have that much to say about this game, actually. Before I go, I want to give a quick shout out to H-Bomber Guy's Donkey Kong 64 Charity Nightmare for Mermaids, both for making Grant Kirkhope say trans rights, and helping me get through the fucking 3.5 hours it took my shitty laptop to download Join Us for Bridge with Shaw Taylor. Not that he really needs it, but if you like my videos, you should go check out his videos. I think that would be cool of you if you did that, and I would appreciate it. It's a weird ass thing to... That's a, like, weird phrasing, I think. It's kind of a weird, like, way to say what I'm saying. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the Bandersnatch. No, that's not it.